A question that I get quite often from comments on this channel from people who have known me from the jump, from when I first started Strictly Broken TCG and everything, it's like, yo, Yui, how do I go about starting my own business? How do I get inventory? What do I do to build volume in inventory, volume in capital, blah 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 blah. Questions in that nature, all business related. And this is not a business related video, but I do want to give a quick, easy, freest tip of your life on how you can make a ton of money and build a ton of inventory or whatever you need to build for your business. Super easy tip. Just take advantage of innocent people. Or if that's too hard, just join a pyramid scheme. What is up, everyone? It's Yue from the Strictly Broken YouTube channel. And today I want to do a follow-up of a previous video I made where I warned people to not sell their Cardfight Vanguard collections right now in the face of an impending reboot and shift in the game. So in that video, I mentioned very briefly a story that I did not elaborate on at all because I didn't think it was necessary at the time. But seeing as I woke up a couple days ago and I look at my Facebook thread and I see want to sell collection, buying collections 25%, PMing me, and then underneath that PM. I know my channel is still small and I don't know if I have the reach that is necessary. But I think that point of that video was completely lost. So I want to make this one detailing the story of how I made $50,000 during the V-Era reboot for basically free in the span of a few months. Behind me is the remnants of basically a huge exodus of inventory from other regions in America as I traveled to various BCSs and bought people's collections. So this is all premium. This whole shelf, I filmed the video here just to be able to reminisce back. And I have even more, like, keep in mind most of it is sold, but this is everything that's left. And this is only the commons and rares, I do believe. All of our foils are on another shelf somewhere else. So let me just get straight to the story. So during the era reboot announcement, just to set some context, this was following GBT14, following Bermuda set and Zoo and Chaos Rondo, I think is what it's called, the Link Joker set. They announced V-Era reboot, markers, there's the new shit in town, and we're gonna split the formats in two pieces. And everyone goes crazy. Everyone's scared, everyone's terrified. I remember this very clearly. At Strictly, we had just started doing Vanguard not too long before that. We had just hired a manager. He was, a pillar of the British Columbia Vanguard community, and he told me, yo, Yue, you should sell Cardfight Vanguard. I know you're big into waste, and you're doing some Magic, you're doing some Pokemon, but I think, yo, man, Cardfight Vanguard is actually a great game. And our community is dying in BC. You do Cardfight Vanguard, you can revive the community. You have like a community to buy your product. It's great. So we do it, and it was great. I did love it, and that was the first time I was introduced to Cardfight Vanguard. Problem is, we just never got our inventory and our position on Vanguard at the shop just never got to the point that I would like it to be. I'm really big on large inventories, large volumes. That's kind of like my model. So that's a little bit of a tip. My model is to just hold large inventories at a time. And Vanguard, just being our local scene and all, we just couldn't get, we would get people buying boxes, they would trade stuff in as well. But I needed more. I really needed more. And I couldn't get more because, we're just in BC and stuff, and I'm not really well known on the online community. I don't have a big YouTube following. I can't ask people to sell me collections. And so what's the solution? What's the plan? V-Era announcement, splitting formats, premium standard. Everyone goes batshit crazy. And that's my opportunity. So, I play a lot of Magic, I play a lot of Modern, I play a lot of Legacy, and I know that Eternal formats can create a lot of value long term. Magic's value comes entirely from Commander, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. Standard doesn't dictate basically any of the prices. In the short term maybe, but in the long term it's all the Eternal formats. And amidst all the scares, I think like Q4 already came out at the time that we decided to do this. So amidst all the scares and everything, during Springfest, when they first split the standard and premium in two, everyone was selling collections. Like, everyone wanted out of premium. They thought like premium was just going to be crap. They were going to move on from that format. It was only going to be standard, and only standard is going to be supported. So everyone just wanted to unload their premium shit left and right, even some standard shit. It was like crazy. So during that Springfest, I travel a lot for waist shorts at the time. I was a big waist shorts player, and like, you know, my manager did too for Vanguard, and so we traveled to California, to Houston. We had Richmond, which we were vending, and then we also went to Toronto, which is also in Canada, so it was convenient. And at each event, I just brought $5K straight up cash, and I started buying collections on the floor. Bushi Road, you're gonna see this. If anyone sees this, you know, this was a different time. You guys strengthened your you know, floor rules on buying that you know, afterwards. And you know, at the time I didn't know. I promise I'm clean. But during that Springfest season, Cali, Houston, Vancouver, Toronto, 5K each event, just buying collections. Boom, 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 boom. At each event, I blew the 5K. Whatever. And I'm telling you, like, vendors now, they're buying your collections for 25%. You know what this motherfucker did? I was at the event, I was buying collections for 15, 20%. Shit, I fucking... Dude, at California, I remember, this is so crazy. Day 2, you know, we're all leaving. I had my hands full of collections. My suitcases were all full. We brought like multiple suitcases to each event just to buy collections. And then some guy walks up to me right when I was about to leave. He's like, yo, I heard you're buying collections. The vendors at the event, they don't even want my premium shit. They don't believe in it. Please buy my binder off me. I'm like, bro, I can't. My hands are all full. You see this? And I still need cash to, you know, eat a big dinner with my friends tonight. He's like, yo, bro, please. I just want out of premium, man. This format sucks. I'm like, okay, how much you want for the collection? He's like, the vendor offered me 60. And I'm like, I look at the stuff. I'm like, okay, so then the vendor offered you 60, so I guess I can offer a little bit more. He's like, oh, yo, just take it off me. 100, it's yours. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, what's in the binder? You know, like 5, 6 purges, 8 Valhaminas. It's like, I'm spewing numbers off the top of my head, but I remember the purges in Valhaminas, because like the first page was 5 purges and like 8 Valhaminas, like I swear. And the rest of the binder is like bunch of good staple shit, G guards, everything, you know, left and right, good, like, you know, blaster stuff, you know, blah 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 blah. It was crazy. $100. And I literally didn't want it. I was like, bro, my hands are full. And he's just like, yo, just take this off me for 100. Just take the binder. And I did. And that's the kind of vibes at the time. I don't even know if it's worse now or then, but then it was. Back then it was crazy. Like, people wanted out, and I was offering the lowest prices for their shit. You know, within reason too. I'm taking quite a bit of risk. If you looked on the online markets at the time, you know, cards were just dropping and dropping and dropping. So, you know, it is a scary time in people's Vanguard. You know, it's a scary time in Vanguard history. So, yeah, that's what we did. And the aftermath of that, the prices continued to drop. They kept dropping. They kept dropping. And then what happens? Someone discovers Tarna in premium. Lacus Tarna, La Rousse. What happens to those cards? They go up to like $10 each. How many did we buy? We look in our bulk. We look in our, you know, 4 rows. Add them up. There's like 60. Okay. How much did we pay for them? Most of them were probably thrown in. It's random common. Just take it. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. A few months later, what happens? Oh shit, cargo was pretty good in premium. I forgot why, but cargo was kind of relevant. Okay. Purges go up. They dropped all the way down to 5. They went up to 20. Shit happens. Then what happens? Try to think. Oh, look, premium collection. Wow. Let's look at what goes up. I remember this one is pretty funny. Neo Nectar TD card. Neo Nectar TD card, the restanding card. I forgot what it's called. The Neo Nectar, the broken one that I kept losing to at Worlds. That came out, and you can make restanding combos with that card. Dang, that card went from like 50 cents to 20 bucks. Yeah, and then stabilized at like 10. Okay, how many did we have? 60 again. It kept happening over and over and over. You know, for the purposes of this video, I went through our transaction histories on our like online platforms, TCG Player, and then our website as well. $50,000 is conservative. Honestly, it's conservative. Just rounded, you know, quick browsing. It's probably more. And how much did I put into everything? 5K each event, 20K. Make 50K. And it keeps on giving. I still have all of this every 6 months. Staff at SB, they always joke about this because I call this like my giving tree. Every 6 months we go through this, and then like $1,000 pops out of nowhere. It's crazy because cards just go up. Like the Grand Blue starter, the Grenache. Like 2 months back, went to 20. Looked in there. How many was there? Like 40 copies. Pale Moon, Trapezist. How many was in there? Like 20, 30. Periton, 20, 30. This is what I'm saying. These are all just rares and commons, by the way. That spike because of premium. If that previous video did not make it clear enough that what you're doing is actively hindering you, I hope this one does. Because do I feel bad for the people at the time? Of course I do. But, you know, I provided an instant relief when they wanted out of the game. And you can't fault me at the end of the day. The most you can fault me is for buying on the floor. And again, I want to apologize for that. Bushiroad, don't cut me, please. In the end of the day, there's not much more wrong I did. And I think it's a similar pattern now. Vendors are buying at 25% of your collection. A year or two down the line, the shit you sold is probably going to spike. Same kind of concept. And who's going to win this time? Those vendors, again, those shops who bought your collections, those people who bought your Nemains for $250, who bought your Greed Shades for $250, who bought your, I don't even know, what's a broken card in Standard right now? Agalo Veils for $250. You know, all these broken cards. I can just name them over and over and over that you're selling for $250, $1, $2, just to get them out of your hands. Just hold on to them, please. Please. If video 1 didn't send enough of a message, this video should. And there's an interesting story to it. That 20K that I put in 3 years ago, I'll tell you right now, our entire Vanguard inventory was basically evolved and developed off of that 20K I spent. And sure, it made back 50K, probably closer to 80K, maybe even 100K by now. But it still keeps giving. There's still cards that go up from that we have, that we pull out, and we're like, oh shit, this is like a $3 card now, this is a $4 card now, this is a $5 card now, we probably paid like $1 for it. So take this as me, as a store owner, giving you, a person who wants to sell because they're nervous, because they have anxiety, because they're tired of this bullshit company, Bushiroad, doing Cardfight Vanguard the wrong way, keeps rebooting shit and making my collection worthless. I'm telling you, it's not worthless. Just keep it, please. And when, you know, your cards become relevant again, you can either play it or, you know, sell it for a reasonable amount that isn't 25%. That's all I have to say.